Hello, American Film Institute board members. My name is T.R. Warner, and today I'll be talking to you about how to keep your organization tax exempt. Being a tax exempt nonprofit is very important. Getting that tax exempt status is a very hard thing to do. It's a very detailed process, and once you get it, you want to keep it, and you need to know all the rules and all the details on how to keep your organization tax exempt. And an uninformed board, an organization with an uninformed board is the most at risk for loss of tax exempt status because of the individuals involved. Now, today we're going to talk about protection from personal liability for yourself as a board member, rules on political activity, important documents you should know about, private inurement, avoiding private foundation status, nonprofit governance principles, annual reporting, and unrelated business income tax. These are all things you need to be aware of. So your mission statement says that AFI is America's promise to preserve the history of the motion picture, to honor the artists and their work, and to educate the next generation of storytellers. Now, one of the parts of staying tax exempt is staying in line with your statement of purpose. So you want to make sure that your activities involve educating filmmakers, honoring artists, and preserving film. So you yourself as a board member are subject to personal liability. To protect yourself from liability, you want to make sure that your organization has you covered under the 4 I's. The first I is indemnification. Now this pretty much says that the organization will pay for any legal fees that come with any lawsuits that may go up against you or the organization, you as a part of the organization, any legal fees, any kind of expenses related to dealing with lawsuits. Insurance, the second I, is just like almost like indemnification, but the legal fees and things like that are handled through a third party. Immunity. Some states have immunity laws where certain classes of individuals are protected against certain actions, but you want to make sure you check what the California state law says about immunity and if you are protected. And then incorporation, your AFI, you have been incorporated since 1967, and it protects the individuals because you're now under an incorporation. So if someone is to sue, they sue the corporation and not you individually, so you're protected. Important documents to know about. The Articles of Incorporation is how your organization is put together. You have a statement of purpose in there, and there are also statements as to how you will operate and what you will do. So you'll preserve film, you'll educate filmmakers, you will honor artists. You need to know about what's in these articles. You also need to know your bylaws, the rules and regulations of how your organization is to operate. Please be aware with those details as well and know where they are and know who to ask when it comes to finding them. Also, organizational minutes. Keeping organizational minutes filed and in immaculate order can help protect you from things like IRS audits, or they help you defend yourself when an IRS audit comes around. Lobbying and political activity. If Ben Affleck comes to talk at one of your events, say the beginning of a film festival, and he endorses Barack Obama and not Mitt Romney, you can be in trouble because it may appear that AFI is showing preference to one political candidate, and that is not allowed. So please make sure that any person speaking on behalf of your organization or at an event sponsored by your organization is not endorsing any one particular issue, any one particular candidate, because you can lose your tax exempt status that way. And if you are to engage in any political activity, it must be educational. You must provide information on all sides of the issue. You must provide all information on any candidates that you're talking about in a particular race in order to stay fair. To be considered charitable, you must be considered charitable to be tax exempt. Your activities, again, like I said, must be aligned with your purpose: educating filmmakers, preserving film, and honoring artists. So stay in line with your purpose. Private inurement. The private inurement doctrine says that you as a board member are not allowed to privately benefit from any actions of the organization. So you're not allowed to get free Oscar tickets because you helped out with an event for Steven Spielberg. You individually are not allowed to profit from this organization. You're in it for charity, not to get rich, and you must remember that. Intermediate sanctions have been put in place by the federal law to punish individuals for private inurement penalties instead of the organization. So if one board member breaks this rule, then the organization itself can be protected from losing its tax-exempt status, and that individual will be subject to a 25% tax, and they must give all money, anything they receive, back. Appearances. Be aware of appearances. They look like conflicts of interest. They're not illegal, but they can make the organization look bad. Things like having a husband and wife serve on the board of directors may look bad. If Tom Hanks and his wife are on the board of directors for AFI, then that might look like it's a conflict of interest. Again, not illegal, but you want to keep those things in mind and stay away from them because they just make you guys look bad. You want to avoid private foundation status as well. You want to prove that your organization is publicly supported by at least 1/3 of the support that it receives. Single donors are not allowed to give more than 2% of your total support in a 5-year period. So Steven Spielberg comes to you. I keep using him because he's awesome. But if Steven Spielberg comes and donates $2 million to you, that is more than 2% of your total support. So ask him to give you a little less over a bigger period of time because you can lose your tax-exempt status by that one huge lump sum of a donation. You also need to have nonprofit governance principles in place. That's something like being as simple as staying informed with laws that you have to abide by. Making sure that your Form 990, your income tax return, is filled out and filed correctly. Being a transparent organization, which means you're making that Form 990 available. Having a code of ethics for your board members. Because you want to make sure that you have people on the board who have the best interest of your organization at heart. So that's very important. Also, be aware of fundraising policies. Have fundraising policies in place, and also remember that each state has different fundraising laws and regulations. So if you are to have a fundraising event in New York, say you have an AFI Film Festival in New York, you have a gala where you're raising money for your organization, make sure you know the laws of New York and their fundraising policies because they are probably different from California. Know your organization. Stay informed. Know your organization. That's going to be repeated through this entire presentation because information is key to staying tax exempt. Annual reporting. AFI brings in over $10 million, so you must file your Form 990 digitally. The new one adds a personal feel. You have your mission statement, your accomplishments. Really nice to be able to add a personal feel so the person looking at your document gets to know your personality and gets to know the organization as a whole, and maybe will favor the organization. Material changes. If there are any changes to your statement of purpose or program structure, you must report it to the IRS. AFI has been around since 1967. There's a great possibility that this could happen. So make sure you're reporting that. Limitations on donations. Make sure your donors are aware that there are limitations on how much they can deduct from their taxes when they donate to you. Unrelated business income tax. Like I said before, stick to activities that are within your statement of purpose. If you're doing underwater basket weaving for a profit, you can do it once, but if you keep doing it and doing it and doing it continually, then that's not in line with your statement of purpose, and you can be subject to an income tax. IRS audits. Always be prepared. They can come at any time. Keep records. Know where everything is. Be aware of a surprise tour if they come in and want to see where everything is. Make sure everyone in the organization is prepared. Ask questions if you have any to anyone, to outside resources. Just stay informed and be aware at all times. We need to keep some follow-up meetings because issues come up all the time. There's lots of information that needs to be passed out to each and every one of you so we stay tax exempt. I recommend 30 to 45 minutes at every board meeting discussing topics and answering any questions that you have, and having even more in-depth trainings at board member retreats, which I recommend once or twice a year. For more information and help with any questions, you can visit the IRS website and click on the Charities and Nonprofits tab, and just stay informed. It's very important as board members to stay informed to protect yourself and the organization. Have a great day. Thank you.